show today is February 22nd, 2021. The weather, it's snowing and gross. There is no I in team, but there is a me in meat. Go meat! Welcome to the show. My name is Evan the Mayor. That is Brian the Levy.
I just want to say that I was listening to Driver's License weeks ago.
Cool. And that's Casey the Kasem.
Thanks.
It's time to play the music. It's time to lift the lights.
Time to eat, Captain Sir.
Muppet Show is going to be a topic on this here program because we are going to introduce a segment called TV Recap. Is that correct, Brian?
I thought we were just going to check in with some TV stuff. But yeah, sure, we can call it TV Recap.
I mean, kind of like loops into, well, it's been, what we're watching on television and various other things. Top of the show plugs. Guys, I started a Teespring account for the City That Breeds. It's not quite live yet. I mean, the links are up there, but I'm still trying to figure out how to work it. But I did make a very attractive mug that has the little Sunburst logo on it, and also it says CTB.show on it, and I think it's going to be cool. And also, I uploaded that Baltimore Press Start 8-bit Oriole design, so now people can order that shirt again. Yay!
I love that shirt.
It's a good shirt. And so...
can you, customize the, T-shirt type?
Yeah, there are a ton of options and a ton of different products, and you can also do digital downloads, so if and when we ever did something so special that it would warrant paying $2 to download it to listen to it, that would be one option. But yeah, you can make hoodies and joggers and all kinds of clothing options.
Onesies?
I don't know if you can do onesies, but I think it can do baby, the baby singlets,
Could you do adult-sized baby singlets?
I don't know. We'll look into it. But yeah, so that URL.
I would use it for sex stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cut a hole in the front of that logo where it says CTB with the lightning bolt, and then it opens up. I
choose one of the bees. Mm-hmm. One of the holes in the bees.
Yeah.
And I cut a hole into that.
Yeah. Let's not get into that. Anyway, so a short link for that store will be coming soon. As soon as I blow out the options in terms of what you can order, and quite frankly, with the fan zone now being the C T-shirt Baltimore Fan Zone Extreme. I'm just going to go ahead and start making dumb T-shirt designs. Look, if Route 1 Apparel can do it, so can I. And we. The best part is, no inventory in my house. It's all created on the Teespring side of things, and they just mail it in.
You have boxes and boxes of shirts.
Yeah. That's it in my
basement. But what happens if I
show
show up drunk and then puke on myself, and then I need a shirt to wear?
I don't
that
know.
happened at least twice.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, Brian, but your internet connection is crap. Yeah, Casey, how's it going?
Oh,
it's going great. I better internet than Brian apparently.
Yeah, don't you just love the internet? How every 5 seconds a connection becomes unstable and potentially ruins an entire episode of a podcast?
Pretty much. It's all those ones and zeros just going through the pipes and the tubes.
So there's a lot of Baltimore stuff to cover today, as well as TV catch-up. What do you guys want to do first? You want to do a beat on Baltimore or a beat on TV?
Let's beat off Baltimore first.
You want to beat off Baltimore? Well, some good news. I mean, not COVID-related. Well, it is COVID-related. The city seems to have opened up a little more when it comes to going to restaurants, which seems to be the only thing people give a shit about. So the indoor dining is no longer limited to 1 hour, not that it ever really was. The capacities are still limited, not that they're being honored, which, if we've got another spike, we might have to shut down again. However, all those vaccines are coming out, and people are, I don't know how many people have already been sick.
The people can't get a hold of.
Right. Well, I will have a shout-out related to that.
They opened up the site at Raven State M&T Bank.
Oh, yeah?
For sign-ups, yeah, and the site immediately crashed.
Oh, the website. I thought you meant M&T Bank Stadium crashed.
No. The website.
I think we
crashed.
would have known about that if that happened.
Yeah.
We would have heard it.
An entire stadium collapsed. Too many people.
Like, literally heard it. We would have with our ears.
I live very close to the stadium.
You would have felt it.
I probably would have, yeah. If
there would be some kind of dust. There would have been some kind of dust on your house from it.
Yeah, especially if we had a sum of all fears scenario.
Well, that was a nuclear explosion.
It was. I'd be dead instantly. You know?
Yes.
I think I'd rather do that than have pancreatic cancer or something like that.
Oh, I've always said I wanted to die in a terrorist attack because then it doesn't matter what kind of asshole you were in life.
Oh, you're a hero.
You have died. You've died a hero.
Yeah, and
Correct.
your family gets a paycheck.
Oh, do they?
I guess. I mean, look at 9/11.
I don't want those assholes to live off my large ass.
Speaking of that movie, why Baltimore? Why did they have to blow up Baltimore?
I think it was in the book. It's like Denver or something.
Oh, really?
I believe so.
What?
I think Baltimore had the right tax credits.
Oh no, I didn't mean like who. I just mean who gets blown up.
Oh well, the reason was because they had to sneak a nuke,
A dirty bomb.
That was hidden. And I remember this. I read a lot of Tom Clancy. I liked Tom Clancy. That's why I was a staunch Republican. They hid a dirty bomb in a soda machine at the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's one of the most implausible things in that movie, because they never have the Super Bowl in a cold weather city. Come on, get out of here. It's crazy.
But also, Tom Clancy, come on, man. Like, this is your movie, and you're blowing up your own condo?
He loved that condo.
He loved it so much. And I think it recently listed or sold. I can't remember, but it was for several $1 million. Which is...
Did he die in that condo?
He died, yes.
No, I know he died, but is he haunting it?
In Baltimore, so he didn't have to leave.
Right.
Well, he didn't direct it, Casey.
He was an on-site
I
consultant,
know he didn't direct it. I know, but he's probably a consultant. So he probably just like walked downstairs, said, "Yeah, this looks good." Went back upstairs and got paid pretty good.
Somebody get me the Affleck on the phone. Tell him to swing by Rofo, give me some tendies, and let's talk about Jack Ryan.
The idea that Jack Ryan would like be munching on Rofo tendies, started out as an analyst, became a
guys. It's me. It's Jack Ryan. I'm here. I'm going to save all your lives. It's going to be awesome. I hate terrorists, just like anybody else from Dundalk.
Where was Jack Ryan from in the novel series?
I don't remember. I don't think it's that important. He lived in D.C. or whatever. Actually, no, he lived in like Annapolis.
Oh, right. Yeah, because he was always rowing.
Yeah, and at the end of Patriot Games, they kill Sean Bean on that boat.
Oh, poor Sean Bean.
It's just another movie where Sean Bean dies.
Jack Ryan was born in Baltimore, Maryland.
No, there you go.
Wait, is that on the wiki?
Yeah, it is. The character was born in Baltimore.
This is the kind of, he went to Notre Dame, I believe. No, he went to the Naval Academy. Yes. and then he was a Marine or something, and then hurt himself in a helicopter. Woo! I hurt myself. Helicopter.
All right.
Accident.
His backstory does not make any sense.
It does not.
Son of a Baltimore police detective and nurse. He was a Marine, a stockbroker, and becomes a civilian history professor at the Naval Academy.
What?
And then he joins the CIA
as an analyst.
Yes.
Casey, as a person who has been many things and was hoping to become a civilian high school history teacher, maybe one day a PhD, maybe by the time I'm 50, I will be Professor Brian Murphy.
And then you can join the CIA.
Then I'm joining the CIA.
However,
somebody give me a gun and some terrorists.
Title of the episode: Jack Ryan: Son of Baltimore.
Yes. There's a Green Lantern who went to Dundalk High School.
Oh, neat. And when he uses the Green Lantern powers, it's like a Ford Chevy or an Impala.
It's always
a Cobra.
This plane's. He's always saying. I don't know, Batman. This plane stinks like the rendering plane over by where I used to live.
Them two golden domes. Oh, that's what comes out of his green ring.
Always reminds me of him. I'm gonna slap you with some shit, and then he just wham.
Yep, the shit plant. The shit plant comes out of his ring and hits Mysterio. Or what's the purple guy's name?
Sinestro. Mysterio is Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know. He's Chrome Dome.
No, that's Destro.
Oh, that also. Speaking of which,
yes.
Which action figure is the most attractive action figure? Is it the Baroness?
Well, but I don't know. Should we say which cartoon based on an action figure is the most attractive? Because I never wanted to fuck a toy, but I could probably see my way. To doing it to some cartoons. The Baroness is high on the list. I think number one is obviously Jessica Rabbit, not based on that 80s toy line. Janine from Ghostbusters.
Okay,
can't leave her out. And then finally, one of the Beverly Hills teens who was obviously in their 20s.
Yeah, it's a deep cut.
Thank you.
I think it's telling that Brian had answers for that question just chambered, ready to go.
Indeed.
It's clearly not the first time he's thought about it.
Not the first time I thought about which 80s property cartoon I like to fuck? No, not at all.
Toy.
Based on a toy line, right. Right, She-Ra can go straight to fuck off hell. That's what I say.
So getting back to these restaurants being open in Baltimore, now, Casey, that COVID is over, where are you going to go?
Oh, I mean, I thought it was over in, November.
Well, yeah, because that's when Biden got elected, so.
Now that it's over again. Casey, have you been vaccinated yet? That's
no,
what I'm saying, by the way. Vaccinated.
Vaccinated?
No, I don't. I probably won't be able to until, the summer.
I think it's funny that Casey is the person in the world most afeared of COVID, and yet he is last on the list to be able to be vaccinated.
Oh, I would just like to give a brief shout out to my virtual background here, where a bearded Casey can be seen at ABC2 News from several years ago when we.
He looks like Al Borland.
When we recorded with a friend of the show, Josie Sermon. And we got to sit on the Face Off set.
And we got to hold an Emmy.
Say that again?
We got to hold an Emmy.
Yes, we did. 2 of them. They're quite heavy. And I saw Richard Scher's desk. Brian's favorite person.
Teenage Brian Levy's arch enemy.
All right, so let's get into some more Baltimore stuff before we do some hot TV chat. I think we should do hot TV chat after the break. Then we talk about slightly more Baltimore stuff. Actually, this is a really quick one. There's been a lot of beef online lately between elected officials in Baltimore. Recently, sorry. I'm going to do a little share screen here because the Baltimore police had what they like to call a significant seizure of drugs. You can now see the thing if you're looking on Facebook. Look at all that weed.
There might be a little bit of coke in there.
There's some Suboxone. There's probably some coke, but what they reported was 627 grams of weed and $4,400 in cash. And I did the math in my head. That's probably they had a kilo of weed and sold a lot of it, and that's about 10 grand. Wow, what a bust! Huge bust.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, this in particular, that they felt the need to put it on Facebook. What felt like
that's the weirdest thing. Why did they do that?
It's so strange that they laid out all the little canisters of weed, and like a scale and all that other nonsense because they didn't have any guns or anything like that. The point is,
it's such a 1980s thing to do, like drugs on the table.
I mean, if it's like bricks of heroin and PCP and shit like that, fine. Yeah, that's significant.
Just a bunch of weed.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of bags of weed. But
it's like Maggie's does that in an afternoon. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that a prop? Like, do they feel good about themselves? Like, here's a question. what if these guys were like wanted for a shooting or whatever? They also happen to have the weed. And what if they just didn't tell us about the weed and told us about the shooting and stuff? Wouldn't that make you feel better? Like,
I think that would be a
it's
little
like,
more
hey, we
logical.
just pulled over a couple of random dudes because we felt like it. And look at this weed we found. I don't want to know about that. Don't tell me about that. I can buy weed in a store now.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Apparently the stop was at like 11:45 a.m. on a Saturday or something like that, and I'm like, oh, they got them in a traffic stop or some shit, because they were driving like a '99 Chevy Suburban, and it just stuck out to me as, oh, this was some sort of random stop that it just paid off, because the vehicle smelled like weed, and there were 3 people in the car acting weird, but. So this comes out, this inane picture of a drug bust, and Councilman Ryan Dorsey basically is like, he does a lot of tweeting about how the cops are racist and stuff like that, and it was basically about how this post by the police was dumb, and I think like everybody basically said, yeah, that was dumb, and then it got into an escalated state where, you know, as the council person does, often refer to the police as racists. The Fraternal Order of Police, which has a very terrible Twitter account, took grave offense to it, and then they issued a statement, and it's on. Now there's a big beef between, you know, the woke left on Twitter in Baltimore and Ryan Dorsey and the police, and I caught wind of this literally today because I saw it on the local news where they were laying out the details of this Twitter beef, which stemmed from this picture that I had seen many days ago and was like, well, that's dumb. But yeah, interesting how it runs up the chain. It should be noted that when, you know, a council person refers to the cops as racists, it's not like out of nowhere. In that consent degree from several years ago, there were multiple references of how the cops were, you know,
numerically racist,
but also verbally racist when they were busting up scenes.
Their racism has been proven by math.
Proved by math, proven by testimony, and then so forth and so on. Oh, speaking of which, when we get Mr. Justin Fenton on the show to talk about his new book, we can delve into this some more.
We've said it, now he has to.
I know, because he watches and listens at the same time.
Good for him.
Great. All right, let's get into some TV, guys.
Okay.
TV guys.
Big announcement this week-ish.
Okay, bring it on.
On the newly rebranded Paramount Plus, which used to be CBS All Access,
right?
They will be streaming a new season of The Real World, in which they bring back all the cast members from the very, very first season.
Question.
And they put them in a house, and they film them to find out what happens when people stop being polite and start getting real.
And start getting real. So are they doing it in New York?
Yeah, in the same loft.
And I'm assuming a lot of these people are married with children and stuff like that, so it's like they just get to leave their house for 3 months or whatever?
Well, I bet you they do it for 6 weeks, but yeah, sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, you know, as the trope goes now with The Real World, how drama is expected, I think it's just going to be a bunch of middle-aged people sitting around being like, hi, how's it going?
So I've been watching a lot of Real World on Pluto TV, specifically the 3rd season with Pedro and Judd and Puck and Mohammed and Julie and Corey, and I think that's enough. Those are all the important ones. And it's fascinating just how slow it is.
Right.
But also, like, perhaps if you've watched and please go over to our YouTube page, like and subscribe our videos, specifically my poem, 5 minutes with the poem.
It hasn't aired yet. It will, though.
It hasn't aired. Well, maybe by the time this comes out, it will have. So go listen to that. You know, I talk about, like, you know, watching The Real World and seeing these 22-year-olds and how they feel older than me than I am right now. It's
Right.
like, oh, this one girl's going through a divorce. What's that gonna be like when I grow up? I'm like, fuck, did that a year ago. Shit. Like,
Yeah, but these people are in their 20s. Yeah, it's so strange how old people look when they're in their 20s in the 90s or the 80s or
Right.
70s.
right.
Crazy.
Those are adults. They grow mustaches and shit.
I'm glad that as children, we ate all the Happy Meals with all the hormones that kept us looking good, young.
It's fucking hormones in the milk and chicken, man. And Sesame Street.
Yeah, keeps you young.
And I started smoking when I was like 15. So,
Yeah, well, that's preserving something at least.
yes, I am finally aged. Like a mummy.
Finally aged.
Like a mummy. Like a frozen Icelandic caveman.
Caveman lawyer.
Oh, yeah. I'm just a simple lawyer. I don't know. How did these people get in my television? Let them out. Let them out.
But the other thing I noticed TV-wise, and speaking of the real world, I probably will check this out because I'm curious as to how old these people
That's a
look.
good way to get my $7 for a couple of months.
Right. Casey, this is related to you and other people that I know on Facebook. You've been watching a lot of Muppet Show lately.
I mean, it came out Friday. I've watched like 4 episodes.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
that
3 more
qualifies.
than I watched.
Yeah.
It's a good I got I don't want to commit to like an hour-long television show, but I just want to check something out. Like for a few minutes, I'll throw on a episode, cherry pick the guest.
I watched the Debbie Harry episode. That's because I know that she sings Rainbow Connection with Kermit in it, and I wanted to watch that.
So
Yeah,
I watched the God.
No, you go ahead.
I watched the Star Wars episode, and oh boy, definitely getting a lot of the Christmas special vibes.
Uh-huh.
It is weird. Mark Hamill shows up, but initially he is Luke Skywalker, and then they ask him to do something, and he's like, "Let me go get my cousin," and he goes off stage, and then comes back in regular clothes, and is Mark Hamill all of a sudden, and does something. And then goes off stage and then comes back in costume, and he's Luke Skywalker. Except he doesn't have a lightsaber; he just has the blaster for some reason.
Well, see, and this is part of, and I haven't watched that one yet, but it's on my list of things to do. But that's part of when I say I don't like Star Wars. That's not true. I don't like modern Star Wars. I love Star Wars while Star Wars was happening. That doesn't take itself too seriously. That's as far as I'm concerned, Star Wars on the Muppet Show is probably the most canonical. It might be the only real Star Wars that I recognize.
I mean, Yoda's a goddamn Muppet, so it all makes sense.
Right.
And then C-3PO does a dance number for some reason.
I don't know
the robot?
No, he does tap. It's weird.
Oh, that almost makes a bit more sense.
Was it actually Anthony Daniels? Do you think? Did they make that Englishman show up? All right, you guys sound like this for a couple hours.
Probably did. If it was Mark Hamill, I'm sure Anthony Daniels probably.
Yeah, but Mark Hamill isn't put in a suit of armor to go to work.
Voice. So.
Well, they can just put. I don't think that the Kermit. No, Kermit probably is talking when you hear him.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think is the most fun about the Muppets is the idea that once you're there with them long enough, you just ignore the person with the hand up the puppet's ass.
Yeah, sure.
You're just talking to Kermit. You're so you want a cup of coffee? He's like, oh yeah, sure, give me a cup of coffee. It's awesome.
I remember when I first saw a Muppet-esque presentation in real life, it was Avenue Q, and you can clearly see the people, working the puppets, but you just don't pay attention to them at all after a few minutes. Puppets are great.
Puppets are great. So there was a big reveal on WandaVision. Agnes is Agatha Harkness.
Yeah, I think that was something
Spoiler
either
alert.
you or I or somebody had suggested, and the internet's been saying it since day one. And also, I noticed that everyone is thinking that Pietro is actually the Grim Reaper guy.
Mephisto. Here's the thing that's been...
Grim Reaper, the
He's
guy
not.
with the weird head, and he's got the scythe.
I don't know who
It's
that
a character
is.
from
Okay.
Fantastic Four and Avengers and stuff. Anyway,
I got him somewhere.
But yeah, it's definitely leading toward a Mephisto storyline. I don't know. Yeah, because the last couple.
I think it's a misdirect. I think the internet wants it to be Mephisto, but really it's just going to end up being Nightmare because Nightmare is confirmed
Wes
that is
Bentley. It's
who.
gonna be Wes Bentlly.
I don't know who that is.
He's the actor who played Nightmare in Strider, the Nicolas
okay.
Cage version.
Oh.
I don't think it's.
The thing,
I mean,
the
like
thing,
anything could happen. Maybe.
the thing that's been annoying me the most is people are all like up in arms about, oh, why is Monica sewing your at Carol's? Because she wasn't there when her mom got sick. And I'm like, there's like a fucking window of 25 years in between goddamn Infinity War when Sam Jackson hits the button and Captain Marvel. And like, why are people assuming that Carol just left and never came back? I'm so annoyed about it. And then like they're like, oh well, she wasn't there when her mom. What do you mean?
I mean, Captain Marvel left. Like she doesn't hang out on Earth. She got other stuff to do.
Okay, so she spent all that time trying to regain her memories and her chosen family, and then she just said, all right, fuck off, y'all. I got these space powers. I am out here. No, she comes back all the time. I mean, not all the time, like, every 18 months or so, she comes back. Like, she never comes back, but Sam Jackson just has her pager sitting in his glove box.
I would page her just to be like, hey, you want to play checkers?
Right. What are you doing? Sam Jackson's like, I'm going to go fuck off to the space station for a vacation. You want to, like, come over, hang? I'm going to let, like, a couple of aliens pretend to... I'm going to let a couple of aliens pretend to be me. Like, remember, she was leading those aliens away, wasn't she? Wasn't she taking those aliens from Spider-Man someplace else 25 years ago? But yet those aliens are back on Earth?
I don't know what you're
Captain
talking
Marvel
about.
isn't coming back? No, Casey knows
He's talking about Far From Home because Sam Jackson, like, because Sam Jackson is a Skrull in that movie.
Oh, right. That's right.
I'm making complete sense right now, aren't I, Casey?
Somewhat. You're talking like you're hopped up on Mountain Dew or something.
You rocking some 8 balls this evening? Eh.
Yep.
All right, so my TV, well, it's been has. I was listening to a podcast. Oh, actually, it was How Did This Get Made, and they did an interview with Leah Remini, who has been doing this A&E Scientology show for 3 seasons now. I didn't think it had been on that long. And we started to watch like 1 or 2 episodes, and I was like, hold on, wait. And I all of a sudden put together this like timeline of Scientology documentaries that we needed to watch in order for like what these people were talking about to be even more contextual, because you can see it happening in real time in some of these other documentaries.
Well, because you are a Scientology expert.
I am.
You were an SP for a while,
I am an SP. I think what I ought to do is read the letter that I got, maybe on a 5 Minutes with the Fam. But yeah, hilarious stuff. But yeah, it's crazy shit, and the episodes of that show, the Scientology and the Aftermath, starring Leah Remini, there have been a lot of there's a bunch of stuff on that show that like I didn't previously know about, which is pretty cool because I thought I knew pretty much what everything there was to know, basically.
Well, I think our knowledge generally ends with going clear, right?
That was only a couple of years ago. Yeah, I think either 2015 or 17. But there's another one called My Scientology Movie, from this BBC guy who, it's not as groundbreaking. Like, he basically just wants to make a reenactment of David Miscavige, like, torturing his people, which he does do, and it's very good.
The musical chairs?
Yeah, yes, that. But, well, actually, no, it wasn't the musical chairs portion of the what he was trying to reenact. It was basically, like, all of his Sea Org members being stuck in a prison and him beating them and making them crawl around on the floor and that sort of thing. But, I mean, they go to the headquarters entry gate a couple of times and have these weird exchanges with the Scientology people that are like, this is private property, you have to leave. And he's like, no, actually it's public property and we can be here, I have a permit to film. Anyway, that's a good one to watch, but I have to highly recommend the Scientology show on Hulu, or wait, Netflix. It's on Netflix. Free.
Off camera.
off camera.
Netflix. Netflix.
But that is what we've been watching. Also, a couple of movies we watched. Did I mention that we watched Promising Young Female?
No.
What's that about?
So the lady from Drive, who's the single mom, is in this movie, and
Christina Hendricks, right?
No, no,
Oh.
I forget her name. It's I forget. Anyway, it's basically
Naomi Watts.
she is pretending to be drunk and taking guys home so that they will try to do it with her, and then she just is like, hey, guess what? I'm sober. You're bad. Things spiral out of control. I'm not going to give it any more of a review other than it's worth watching, but I don't like it. And speaking of other movies that people I have noticed really don't like, I Care a Lot, which is #1 on Hulu currently, starring the lady from Gone Girl and Alicia Witt's in it, and Peter Dinklage is in it. So it's got a cast. It's got quite a cast, but this is a movie in which you do not root for anyone. It's basically about elder abuse.
My favorite kind.
Yeah, there's a Russian mafia plot line, and by the end of it, you're just like, well, I don't like what happened.
But I thought it was like a dark comedy kind of thing.
I would not call it a comedy. I mean, it's basically.
Well, those are really good.
Those
kind of things are only funny are only good when they're funny.
It's not very funny. I mean, it's taut. It has interesting. I mean, the acting is good, and the twists are interesting. But at the end of the day, it's really just about people abusing elderly people.
Well, if you're not laughing, then I don't want to see that.
Yeah, you're not. Not a whole lot of laughs.
I don't laugh at the old people. Fuck
Right.
those movies.
So I think that's a movie you didn't like. I think you'll like Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Okay.
It is the weirdest movie I've ever seen, but it's pretty funny.
You have to pay for that, don't you?
Sounds like something I gotta buy.
Technically.
But we also watched Psycho Gorman, and I highly, highly recommend that one. That was only like $3.99 or $7.99, I don't remember, but it was very funny.
And we watched Night of the Demons.
We did.
A movie which is secretly very good.
Well, and like Psycho Gorman, it has very similar reasons why I like them, because the costuming is kind of good. I mean, Night of the Demons
were great.
There's a lot of boobs. Psycho Gorman has no boobs, but the costumes are pretty damn good for a Canadian government-funded film with a lot of blood and aliens and costumes and some children that do some very good acting. So that's it. All right, that's been TV Wrap-Up. Whee!
Whee!
Which means it is now time to celebrate the internet sensation, sweeping the nation. It's time for shout-outs.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Shout-outs. It's the part of the show in which you take a non-break and give bad props, aka shout-outs to persons, places, and things that are improving our quality of life and giving us jollies. Casey, I know we've got something from the fam zone.
Zach Electric Golf says, shout out to Senior Frogs. Spring break, baby. Woo!
Yeah, is that our Ted Cruz reference?
I'm going to assume so.
Yeah, that was like days
yes.
ago. Who's talking about that anymore?
Apparently a mariachi band was performing in front of his house.
Look, there's never a bad time for a good Ted Cruz dunk. He's the reason for the season, and dunk on him perpetually. Dunking season.
Dunking season.
From the ground.
Not a part of your system. My shout out is for a show I forgot to mention. His Dark Materials. It's pretty decent. It flies by though. It's very short. So we watched it all in like a week.
I thought that's a show for children.
Not really. It's definitely got the young adult vibes. Apparently it wasn't really written with any particular audience, but the kids are not annoying. and that's like the best thing I can say about a pre-adolescent driven character plot.
The kids are not annoying. The kids are all right, Casey.
The kids are all right.
As far as you know. Brian, what do you got?
Yeah, so I said this in the intro. I've been talking about driver's license for weeks. If you're just learning about driver's license from Saturday Night Live this weekend, please just listen to that song a lot. That's all I'm saying. It's good. Good song.
Cool.
Did you not watch SNL this week?
We did. I don't know what you're referencing.
Driver's License is the song that they were singing in the bar with all the dudes.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
It's a good song, man.
Yeah, there we go.
It's a good song.
Yeah. Very good.
Good song.
Shout out to that episode of SNL, as usual. It's one of those things that we've always taken for granted. Remember when we were teens and we were like, SNL sucks. Ugh. Will Ferrell?
No.
Well,
No, I mean, hold on. You want to see something great? Let me show you a picture. Well,
Could they
too
do
bad.
Ladies Man now? Could you do Ladies Man sketch?
yeah, I think so.
Could you do, Pat? I'm going to show you a great picture. Uh-oh. Hold on.
It's not working, Brian. Just describe it.
Take my virtual background off.
Yeah. Now we get to see your dirty bathroom of a bedroom.
What? My room's very clean.
Okay.
The shadesy work. Here's a picture of me. I'm at camp. You can see I've shaved my head
Yeah.
into a Costanza, but I'm wearing a Spartan Spirit shirt.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's you.
I was always into SNL.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right, my shout out this week to a friend of the show, Nate Dogg, who him and his wife are both on the Maryland Dog Human Rescue. Basically, their dogs find people that are lost. And they both got their 2 rounds of vaccinations, so bully for them. And the work that they do. Thank you for your service. And that has been shout-outs. Okay. We've got a few minutes to kill on this second portion of the show. I figured we would get into some more Baltimore stuff. I figured we should do a beat on the fact that the Baltimore Sun and various other newspapers in the state of Maryland now have essentially been rescued by a Jeff Bezos-esque individual.
They're just allowed to do whatever they want now, right?
What, the Jeff Bezos-esque individuals?
No, the Sun.
No, I don't even know if this is a done deal. I don't know when it takes into effect, and I think we're going to have to speak with one Justin Fenton when he comes on the show to talk about this. But
He'll tell us all the inside info.
Oh, all of it. But yeah, the good news is that a hotel magnate has essentially rescued the Baltimore Sun and various other newspapers from, well, inevitable doom. I did some reading on this guy, and oh shit, now I can't.
His name is Paris Hilton.
His name is Paris Hilton. Robert Paulson. Casey, you gotta. I'm having trouble with my screen. Get that guy's name. The point is, this guy. I was like, who the hell is this guy who's got all this money? He's like the chairman of the biggest hotel chain in the world. Hey, have you ever heard of Clarion? Have you ever heard of Comfort Inn? Have you ever heard of lots of those middling range hotel chains? Well,
that's him. That's him. And
Stuart
Bainham. Yeah.
His name is Mr. Dazin.
But yeah, all of those hotels that are like not necessarily cheap, but not necessarily expensive, like he's the chairman, and he has been for quite some time. And he's also been involved in politics and born in Tacoma Park, Maryland. So.
Was he ever on Undercover Boss?
I doubt it. I don't know.
That is my that is my gauge. Are you a good boss?
That's your benchmark as to whether he's a good human being.
Whether he's given 2 employees $10,000 and fired a third one time. That's what I want to see.
So before we get back to this guy, I did note that either today or recently, or it's going to be recent future, is Employee Appreciation Day at a regional grocery store chain. And
yeah.
rather than getting hazard pay, the employees got a $10 gift card to said grocery chain.
Where was that?
They didn't name it. It was on Marketplace.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's better than the stores that were closing as opposed to doing the hazard pay.
Right. Anyway, getting back to this guy and the future of journalism in the area, like, holy shit, we need this. Yes, we need to have a nonprofit model for most journalism now, because there's just no money in it in terms of doing ad sales and all that shit. You have to run the leanest operation imaginable to even begin to try to do print media. I don't even know why the Baltimore, like, it makes sense for the New York Times. The Baltimore Sun, have you picked up a Baltimore Sun recently, like a print copy of the Baltimore Sun?
Just to put it like on the other side of somebody's fence.
Right. It weighs like 2 ounces. It is tiny. It's mostly AP articles. They have had to lay off and or buy out lots and lots and lots of their staff. It sucks. And especially in this day and age, when look at what the Baltimore Sun did last year. Kathy Pugh, I mean, are we kidding? Healthy Holly, that was enormous. That was their story.
Well, I think we're all getting books tomorrow written by a Baltimore Sun reporter.
Right. Yes. But, referring to the previous topic, the guy who was part and parcel to receiving that that Pulitzer, Luke Broadwater, is now at the Washington Post. And It's like, God damn it. We need to be able to retain some talent, and expose all of the various issues. Thank God. Look, say what you want about Brandon Scott. I tend to be a fan of him. I don't find him to be corrupt. That time that we spoke to him, he seemed on the level. If we had done a similar interview with Catherine Pugh, I don't think it would have come out the same way.
I'm just hoping for a good culture writer.
Right, yeah. How about we get a restaurant reviewer back, or any kind of arts, movie reviews.
I won't be going to the theater for years, but I'd love to read a review of a play or a musical.
Wow, that would be interesting if it ever happened again.
Wouldn't it, though?
I guess my question is, does this guy have so much money that it doesn't matter if the Baltimore Sun is a loss leader for a while, and he can just kind of bleed out a bunch of money?
And the whole nonprofit thing, that's exactly what the reporters were aiming for.
I think Luke talked to us about that when we had him on a year ago. So it sounded like if it's what they want, well then cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I wish I could sit down and look at the books and see how it works numerically. I don't know. I just don't know. I really don't, because if they're not. Are they going to rely on donations and grants and things like that, or just this guy's checkbook? I don't know how it works. I really don't.
I'm willing to send them $50 a year.
Okay.
But the newspaper has to be good, or at least it has to be trying to be good. That's 3 subscriptions.
My biggest question is not necessarily the profit versus nonprofit, but how are they going to change the hearts and minds of the commenters on Facebook?
Well, they should just stop being on Facebook.
You might be right. I don't know.
Is it going to get worse for them? For their sales if they're off of Facebook?
Oh no, I don't think
comments.
They don't make money off of comments. It's literally just
then why bother?
Old ladies named Dottie making awful comments about black people.
Also young white men named Ray.
Yeah, Ray.
Billy Ray.
Donnie. Whatever. It's good news. I'm very happy for the Maryland publication scene. I'm still curious as to how Baltimore Magazine makes its money. Let's get Steve Jeppy on and ask him.
What? Is he still doing that?
Yeah, he owns
Did he get
Baltimore Magazine.
COVID or something?
Huh?
Did he get COVID or something?
Not that I know of.
Me
I mean,
neither.
a lot of people had it, so.
Yeah, does it even matter anymore?
I don't know, but ooh, if this dude is gonna buy the Baltimore Sun, does that mean City Paper's coming back?
Because Baltimore Sun owns City Paper, right? As an entity.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe probably not.
I don't know. I mean,
Get a second nonprofit.
as soon as City Paper, as soon as they bought City Paper, I was like, oh, well, they already have one of those free weeklies, so that's going to go by, which I wrote for, by the way. That went away, and then I was like, uh-oh. Oh, no, City Paper's been around since 1978. It's going to be gone! Brian, whatever happened to that City Paper newspaper kiosk?
Still there.
Still there? Or should we do a midnight extraction?
Probably just send a text. We could do it during the day. Do you want it?
I would love to have
Sure.
it. Yes.
I'm sure she'd love to get rid of it. Text her. You can have it.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I will take it. We were referring to a City Paper newspaper kiosk that when we heard that City Paper was going away, Brian
And then conspiring and breaking and entering on a recorded medium.
Why don't I just call my ex-wife and say, hey, we want that thing? And she'd say, great, that thing that is emblematic.
I want to turn it into a terrarium.
Yeah. She'd be like, that thing that's emblematic of every problem I had in our relationship? Please, take it. I'd love to get it out of here. If she hasn't thrown it out already.
Oh, no. That's heavy. I don't think she's touched
It was heavy. I can't believe I said something like, oh, you mean the actual thing. You know what? You'd be surprised at how light it is.
Okay. Well, I do know where there is one that has not been touched, and it would be very easy to extract, but I'm not going to do
Where?
it just yet. I can't tell you.
Oh, fair enough.
It would
Send it in
require
the chat.
it would require a very quick load and unload and zoom off. I mean, there might be some cameras, but it's COVID, baby. You just wear a mask.
It took me no time at all to get this thing into my dad's car.
I was going to say, this thing was out front of the now defunct Collector's Corner, correct?
No. This was out in Pikesville.
Oh, okay.
It was, or like right at the edge. Like it was over by the quarry.
Gotcha. This is fascinating.
Oh, you know.
All right, do we have any other topics before we get into the shut-ups?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Casey, you
Casey?
good?
I'm good.
You're
Oh,
good?
Casey's great.
Well, if we're all good, then it's time to get a little angry. Time to get a little venti. Time to get a little pissed offy. Before we do this, before I do the drop, we need to identify an alternate to this track because I am sick and tired of getting copyright claims on YouTube. Are there any other songs that have the term "shut up" in it?
Brian
No.
could
Shut
just
up
sing,
when I'm talking to
sing.
you. Shut up!
I'm pretty
Shut
sure
up!
that would probably also have a copyright claim attached to it. We'll figure it out.
Is that Rage
whatever.
Against the... Is that Rage... Who is that? Was that Limp Bizkit?
Linkin
I
Park.
think it's Limp Bizkit.
Limp Park.
I think it's Tim Corn.
Limp Bizkit. No, Linkin Park.
It's shut up when I'm talking to you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like
Shut
a
up!
But fair,
see, that's-
but to be fair, like I'm pretty sure there's a lot of shut ups in Limp Bizkit music.
Yeah, probably. Who knows? Anyway,
I did it all for the shut ups.
shut up. And you can take that shut up and stick it up.
Shut
your
up.
ear.
Stick it up your shut ups.
All right, it's time
Stick
to
it
tell
up
them
your
shut up.
shut-ups.
Let the band deal with this.
We're going to turn this all the way down so that YouTube can't hear it. But the audio listeners can. All right, this is the end of the show in which you give person, place, things that are deproving our quality of life and giving us the opposite of jollies, a hearty, proverbial, or literal shut up. Casey, what do we have from the CT shirt Baltimore Fam Zone Extreme?
So a half-hearted shut up from me to Zach Electrical for posting the GIF of some. I don't know what this GIF is from, but it's very distracting when I'm trying to read the rest of the shout-outs. Listener Liz says, "Shut up to Snane. Either snow or don't. This is not cone weather BS."
Yeah.
Yeah, this weather sucks. And Hannah says, "Shut up to being bad at being productive."
Oh. I am currently looking at her playing Animal Crossing. Mario Kart. With her friends. Oh, okay. Well, that's productive.
I agree, Hannah. I was supposed to do some homework today and only did like half of it. I'll do it tomorrow. Not
Yeah,
even
if we're on the being productive shut up train, I really need to register for some training for work because I need to keep on that professional development train, and I'm not doing it.
anal training.
Yep, annual training. Annual training.
Oh,
Is that all we've got from the Fam Zone, Casey?
That is all we got for the Fan Zone, and they stole what my shut-ups were going to be, so yeah.
All right.
Oh, actually, no, I will add on to the weather shut-up. Shut up to going on Sunday, going outside to break up all the ice in the driveway, and then on Monday, just covering it back up.
Sure. Yeah, the weather's been very frustrating. Wintry mixes are never that great. But it is interesting, like, getting up in the morning and then you look out the window and you're like, oh, it's snowing. Again, for the 5th time. I don't think we've had a year in recent memory where it was like, it would just snow kind of semi-regularly. I enjoy it, but, you know.
I would like to live in a world where Baltimore had the infrastructure to deal with snow as rain.
Right.
Like Chicago.
Just like Chicago.
And Chicago's got that lake effect.
Oh, yeah. Oof. Bitter cold.
Yeah, well, that's when the cold air comes off the lake into the city, bringing moisture with it and creating snow.
Okay. Brian, do you have a shut up?
Nope.
Okay, great. My
Shout out to the lake effect. Makes it cold.
I like that one. It's nebulous. Yeah, my my shut up is to God. If you go to a Facebook group called Fells Point Parking Jerks, where it's just a nonstop cavalcade of pictures of people who just don't know how to park, essentially taking up 3 spaces instead of 1 because they didn't back their car up to the intersection instead of just pulling forward 8 feet past the intersection to park their fucking car so a car can't get behind them. Or worse yet, the people that save a spot for their significant other while they go to work, and they keep just barely less than enough space for another car to come and park until their spouse gets home, and then they go outside and they move the car back, and magically there's enough space for their stupid fucking workaday spouse to park their vehicle. Shut up to those people.
Evan the mayor says, "Shut up to love." Got it.
Yep, shut up to love and taking care of your spouse.
Fuck
That
you,
has been
assholes.
Shut ups. Battery low. Hey, what timing? The battery is getting low on the speaker, which means this has been episode 350. Hey, that's a round number.
Congratulations, you guys.
We did it.
We did it.
Yeah, coming up in the near future, we will have an episode that features Justin Fenton, the crime reporter from the Baltimore Sun, to discuss his new book. In the meantime, thank you very much for being a friend. Thank you very much for being a fan. Have a great day and a better tomorrow.
Bye. I'm out.